St. John Huskies went head-to-head last night with the Dawson Creek Junior Canucks. The game went overtime and the Dawson Creek Junior Canucks won 4-3. Alex Richardson scored the game winner. The Canucks remain the first in the league with a 5-point gap on the Huskies. The Junior Canucks' next game will be against the North Peace Navigators, and the Huskies will play the Grand Prairie JDA Kings. Both games are on Friday. In the NPHL, the Dawson Creek Senior Canucks and Grand Prairie Athletics faced off on Saturday, and the Canucks won 6-3. Canucks forward Levi George scored the game winner in the third period. The Canucks will play the Fort St. John Flyers on Tuesday. The Fort St. John under-10 boys Northern Strikers face Grand Prairie on Saturday. Strikers goalie Reed Bayet had a great game and managed to stop some strong chances. But in the end, it wasn't enough, and Grand Prairie won 8-3. We now know who will be facing off in the Super Bowl. Tom Brady and the New England Patriots are heading back to the big game, defeating the Jacksonville Jaguars. In come-from-behind fashion, the Patriots won 24-20, clinching the AFC Championship. Their Super Bowl opponent will be Philadelphia. The Eagles flew past the Minnesota Vikings to win the NFC Championship by a score of 38-7. The Super Bowl will be played on February 4th. Philadelphia Eagle fans are feeling pretty good today after securing a spot in the big game, but not every Philly fan is smiling. This guy was spotted running straight into a post while trying to catch a subway train after last night's game. It was an unfortunate end to what was surely a good night of celebrations. Social media is loving it though. The clip has been viewed nearly 2 million times on Twitter. One of the greatest players in Oilers history has rejoined the organization. Paul Coffey has been hired as skills development coach to work with Oilers defensemen and developing prospects with their farm team in Bakersfield. The Hall of Fame inductee played more than 21 seasons in the NHL, winning 4 Stanley Cups, including 3 with the Oilers. He says the game hasn't changed that much since he last laced up.
It's changed, it's still the same. There's still hockey players. The guys are playing, and guys that value a structured opinion and some old school mentality, and that's the long and the short is you get your guys playing for you, and that's what matters.
He's coming from the outside, although I consider him an Oiler looking in, and sometimes he sees some things that maybe we don't always see.
Obviously, he was just a big asset, especially for myself and all the defensemen here in here. So it's going to be very interesting to see what he can bring and help us with.
Coffey ranks second all-time among NHL defensemen in career goals, assists, and points. He was also one of 7 Oilers alumni named as one of the 100 greatest NHL players in history. A special honor for a Canadian Zamboni driver with 1 Olympics under his belt is heading back to the Winter Games.
Art Johnson is considered one of the best in the world at his craft.
It's a lot more than just going out there driving in circles, putting water down. You got to know how much to cut, how much water to put down. It's an art form out there.
And because of those skills behind the wheel of a Zamboni, he's been chosen to head to South Korea to be part of the ice resurfacing team at the Olympics. It will be his second games. The first was 8 years ago.
Vancouver was really special because, first of all, it was on home soil. It was the atmosphere in the city. It was just a big party every single night. You go downtown, there's people on the streets. You're not just seeing Canadians, you're seeing people from all over the world there.
He's part of a crew headed up by Don Moffat, the former NHL facilities operations supervisor. Because Korea only has ice for figure skating and speed skating, they're calling on 8 experienced North Americans.
Doing Olympic-size ice, it seems like it takes a little bit longer than a normal ice surface does, but it's going to be the same as doing any other flood, you're just on a bigger stage. It's been very exciting. I'm a little overwhelmed, but it's quite an honor actually to be invited.
Art will leave for Pyeongchang on February 4th. He'll spend 22 days at the games. Some of those will be adjusting to new equipment. The Zambonis there are battery powered. Brent Lale, CTV News.
The world's top sporting court has begun hearing appeals from dozens of Russian athletes who are challenging a lifelong International Olympic Committee ban. The Court of Arbitration for Support in Switzerland is hearing appeals from a total of 39 Russian athletes. They are among 43 Russians who received lifetime bans from competing in the Olympics for doping. The verdicts are expected to be delivered by February 2nd, a week before the games begin. There's hot yoga, but what about freezing cold yoga?
Exhale, under palm, lower.
Yogis dressed in full winter gear joined a class held at the Ice Castle in Harlech Park over the weekend. The instructor calls it Ice Anna, something only a small portion of the population will ever get to experience.
The idea with this practice is to really tap into where heat is coming from in the body. So when we're faced against this thing which is our opposite, which is cold, then we kind of get a little bit hotter, and we really tap into that.
Although new to the city, this instructor says Isana is a type of cold therapy and practice used by yogis as well as Buddhist monks. Monks will take wet towels to mountaintops using only their breath to dry it. And a California man has checked a big item off his bucket list.
Grandpa! Oh my God. Start talking, Robert. Was that the best thing ever?
Oh, the best thing I ever did in my life.
Yeah.
This 9-year-old Robert Reed, he celebrated his birthday by jumping out of a plane.
I figured if George Bush could do it, by golly, I could do it. Well, my wife passed away last year, and she would have jumped with me.
Reed says being in the sky is a chance for him to be closer to his wife. The laughter is contagious in the next video. The guy behind that camera can't stop laughing at his hapless friends who are trying snowboarding for the first time.
Are you going to make it away? Let go! Let go! Let go!
These guys might consider taking a few more lessons before they tackle the slopes. They can't even make it up the bunny hill. Their friend, though, is definitely enjoying the spectacle. And that's it for sports. What do you say we take a quick recap of weather? Let's take a look at the regional forecast. So here in Hudson's Hope, it's a mix of sun and cloud at -4 degrees. In Chetwynd, it's a mix of sun and cloud, -3 degrees. And in Dawson Creek, -3, mix of sun and cloud. And in Tumbler Ridge, a mix of sun and cloud as well. But we do see a little bit of flurries there, about 40% chance, and it's -6. And in Spirit River and Grand Prairie, it's a mix of sun and cloud. And Spirit River is at -6 and Grand Prairie is at -8.
You know, that story about the guys falling on the bunny hill, that actually reminds me of my first time trying to ski.
Oh no, what happened?
Well, I was, my mom signed me up for downhill ski lessons, and most of the first hour of the first lesson was me basically falling on the T-bar as they tried to take me up the hill, so.
Well, lucky for you, it's not going viral, so.
Yeah, back then YouTube didn't exist. Well, that's what made news for today. Thanks for joining us. Tune in again tomorrow night at 6. Have a good evening.
Take care.